The man gave names to all the cattle, all the birds of the air, and all the wild animals. But none proved to be a suitable partner for the man. So the Lord God cast a deep sleep on the man, and while he was asleep, he took out one of his ribs and closed up its place with flesh. The Lord God then built up into a woman the rib that he had taken from the man. When he brought her to the man said, "This one at last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one shall be called woman, for out of her man this one has been taken. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and clings to his wife, and the two of them become one body." The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
St. Paul to the Romans, I urge you, brothers and sisters, by the mercies of God, to offer your bodies as living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God, your spiritual worship. Do not conform yourselves to this age, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and pleasing and perfect. Let love be sincere, hate what is evil, hold on to what is good, love one another with mutual affection, anticipate one another in showing honor, do not grow slack in zeal, be fervent in spirit, serve the Lord, rejoice in hope, endure in affliction, preserve in prayer, contribute to the needs of the holy ones, exercise hospitality. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Alleluia.
Lord be with you.
And also with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
Jesus said to his disciples, "It is not those who say to me, 'Lord, Lord,' who will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the person who does the will of my Father in heaven. Therefore, everyone who listens to these words of mine and acts on them will be like a sensible man who built his house on rock. Rain came down, floods rose, gales blew and hurled themselves against that house, and it did not fail. It was founded on rock." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
They're going to be giving really to each other in a few moments. It's the only sacrament where the people themselves actually administer the sacrament to one another. The priest acts as a witness on behalf of the church and the state, but it's Chris and Susan who will be giving the sacrament to one another. And I think it's a beautiful inspiration for us and encouragement even as we look to the readings this afternoon as well. Monsignor Firmiani was the one who was blessed to prepare them for the sacrament of matrimony some months ago, and I'm sure he's smiling down on us this afternoon as well. Very happy, beautiful place here, and enjoyed being with people prepared for the sacrament of marriage as well. But it strikes me, sometimes we all can make plans, and even last evening I was able to be here at the rehearsal. We can all make plans and think things to be a certain way and expect things to go just as planned, and sometimes things don't work out as we originally had anticipated them. And the Gospel tells us, that the winds can come and the waters will rise and all these things might happen around us. But if our relationship, if our house is built on rock, it doesn't matter what comes against it or what rises up along the side of the wall, because that rock foundation is there that keeps us sure no matter what the circumstances are. And I can say, you can see that evidently in Susan and Chris and their relationship with one another. It's a beautiful lesson as they enter into the sacrament of marriage as well. That, sometimes life doesn't go the way we anticipated it. But if we're really founded on the rock of our love for one another, your love for each other, then you'll be able to endure and grow together even closer to, even through things made of surprises that might come to you or unexpected things. The beautiful reading we heard from the book of Genesis this afternoon too is something that speaks to us as well. That in the mind and in the heart of God, just as the moments of creation had a particular time, that this moment of creation, the marriage sacrament that's going to take place in a few moments, was in the heart and the mind of the Lord himself from the beginning of time as well. And that's a beautiful blessing for us to be able to share this moment with you as well. And St. Paul writes to the people of Rome, we heard Joe read for us from the letter to the Romans. It struck me as we're hearing the reading today that, love doesn't just happen. We can say, I fell in love the first moment I saw him. I'm sure that might be the case or the reality. But the reality is that to be in love, to stay in love, and for love to work, it takes work. It takes forgiveness. It takes understanding. It takes compromise. It takes taking the position and the perspective of the other. And that's really what love is. I heard a homily a while ago, it was actually on Good Friday, that's something that struck me. Love and sacrifice are synonymous. That giving of oneself for the others, to be willing to sacrifice for the other, really is a definition of love. It's not what I can take or get for myself, but it's rather